I'd like to bring out director Josh Trank, producer Simon Kinberg, as Reed Richards, Miles Teller, as Sue Storm, Kate Mara, as Johnny Storm, Michael B. Jordan, as Ben Grimm, Jamie Bell. Sorry. How's it going? And as Victor Von Doom, Toby Kebbell! I know, it is a lot of people. Welcome back. Toby, second time today. What? What do you love?
I love you too. Who was that?
Oh, you love Kate. All right. Well, don't be creepy about it.
Take
All
it
right.
easy, Mom. Take it easy.
Welcome, everyone. Okay, Fantastic Four. Josh, let's start with you.
Yes, sir.
So why...
Hi, everybody.
Hey, this is Josh.
Hello.
This is Josh. He directed this movie.
I have not been to Comic-Con since I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, I stopped coming because it became too Hollywood. So ironically, I'm like...
So now you're part of the problem. Yeah.
Pretty much. So here I am. Hello, everybody.
But it's good. It's nice.
Yeah.
If it hadn't become this, then we wouldn't get, like, huge budget Fantastic Four movies.
Absolutely.
So why was it important for you, Josh, to take on Fantastic Four?
I've always loved the Fantastic Four ever since I was a kid. I honestly, I never collected the comics because, on the weekend with my allowance, I either went to Blockbuster Video or I went to the comic store, and I always went to Blockbuster Video. So my love for the characters usually came out of the Marvel encyclopedias. So I just knew the characters really, really well. And I watched the cartoons. So after we made Chronicle, I wanted to tackle the same subject again, but in a more, as a movie and not as a found footage film. And I just thought that the Fantastic Four would be such a great opportunity to, as a new film, to explore a side of those characters that I'd never seen before, which is the more tragic origin that you can kind of see in the first year of the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby Fantastic Four, where it's more of like a monster tale. It's more of a transformation.
Yeah. Simon, what was your experience and involvement?
They actually, Emma Watts, who's president at Fox, called me when we were finishing Days of Future Past. And I was in Montreal shooting that movie, and she was like, do you want to come work on Fantastic Four? And I also grew up actually loving the Fan Four comics. But I sort of was a little burned out on superhero movies, and I felt like I needed a break. And she said, just talk to Josh. And so we got on the phone, and Josh pitched me his vision of what the movie would be, a more grounded, dramatic, emotional, character-driven story that, like he's been saying, and we said all through photography, like it was more science than science fiction. And that it really hooked me. So I wanted to do it because of the way he wanted to do it.
Miles, how do you approach Reed Richards?
I think anytime you're playing a real person, and I've done it a few times, but no, I consider Reed Richards very much a real person. That there's so much history to that person, and there's just so much material out there. So you kind of want to cipher through a little bit. Josh was sending me books like Quantum Physics for Dummies.
For Dummies, yeah.
Yeah, and he was sending me all this material. But yeah, you approach it very honestly, and I just loved the opportunity for it. It was not something, I kind of joked around a couple of years ago saying, I guess I'll do a superhero film at some point. And then Spider-Man came and went, and I thought that was it. But just to be a part of this cast, specifically with the Fantastic Four, I just think it's really interesting, the people that we assembled for it, and Josh's vision. It's cool, man. It is a very cool film. It's not just people blowing things up, which is great. You're going to sit in that theater, and I think you're really going to be just drawn into this world and the mood that we're kind of playing with. So
great, Kate. You are on fire. You could do anything you want. And so, what made you go? I'm going to do Fantastic Four. I need to be Sue Storm. Like I need to make this happen.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Sure.
I've always wanted to be in a superhero film, and what I loved about this one specifically was the family aspect of it. I also loved, when I met with Josh for the first time, really not having known a lot about the Fantastic Four and the origins of it all. I loved his take on it and the idea of an origins film, really grounded and raw and maybe darker than what people are used to. And so I was attracted to that and being a part of a film that's different than I think what most people have seen.
And how did you approach Sue? Can you sort of give a tonally what she's like in the film?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Miles, I thought You know, one of the main things that we are trying to do is make these superheroes feel as relatable as possible. And you know, in the film, you meet all of us before we have our powers, so you really get to know who Sue is before she has this ability and before she really knows how to use it. And so that was a challenge. But I really relied on the script that Simon wrote and all of the research and everything that Josh brought to the table and all of his ideas as well.
Great. Michael, what was your favorite part about working on the film?
Oh, man. Just like living out a childhood dream, you know, being a big comic book fan, you know, and being able to put on that suit and, like, you know, playing such an iconic character. And then getting a chance to work with these guys again. You know, I've worked with Miles before. I've worked with Josh and built that relationship and that chemistry. And it was an amazing experience, man. It was pretty cool.
I mean, you know, you're always going to be that guy. Like, people are always going to look up to you. They're always going to. This character is part of you now. And did that enter in when you took the job? Did you realize that, you know, that was part of the responsibility?
No, 100%. No, definitely. You know, you got to respect the history and the legacy of the Fantastic Four, being Marvel's first family. And we tried to stay true to that as much as we could. You know, we were very thoughtful in the process of making this film. You know, what the fans were thinking, what they wanted to see. You know, the expectations, and also being, you know, something new, a modern version of you know, a family. And it's pretty cool. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
Excellent, thank you. Jamie,
yeah.
What can you tell us about Ben Grimm?
First of all, hi, how are you?
This is Jamie Bell. You were probably familiar with him.
You look great. It's my first time here, so be gentle. Ben, I mean, I think, you know, in this incarnation of Ben, he's in every kid. Could be any kid in any town in America. He's a bit of an outsider in his kind of social structure. He has one friend, which happens to be the genius Reed Richards, who constantly gets him into trouble, and he always gets him out of it. And I think he's a bit directionless, I think, when we meet him. I think you're at that age when you're kind of finishing high school and you don't know what the rest of your life is going to be, what you're going to do, you know. And then I think certain events in the film, especially the transition that we all go through and the newfound abilities that we all have, Ben very much becomes the best version of a hero, which is one that just looks out for his friends and just protects his friends. He's very much the muscle of the group, and I consider him the heart of the group as well.
Excellent. And now for Toby, what is Victor like in this incarnation?
I play Dr. Doom. And, woo! Yeah. I know you all know Dr. Doom, but he's the best villain of all time in any comic book ever. So.
Okay, why? Why do you think he's the best villain?
I think he is, because we all think he is. I mean, he is. He's just led by ego. He's Reed Richards might be a little bit better than him, possibly. So I want to destroy him, and I will, and that's a promise. So yeah, I mean, it's just that. It's allowing your ego to run riot and be Doom. You know.
What do you think makes a really good villain? Like, what do you think makes people? When you think, well, there's the protagonist and the antagonist, they're supposed to identify with the protagonist, and of course, you know, cheer against the antagonist, but we fall in love with villains. So, like, what is it that you think makes a really good villain?
I think it's very relatable. You know, whenever you lose your temper, there's a part of you that thinks, you know, I should go and apologize. I should go and say sorry. I should do something to make reparation toward what I did. But the best thing about being the villain is you just find a twist so that you're always right. And it's a great way to live. I mean, not in real life, but just as Dr. Doom.
Excellent. And so, Josh,
yes.
From what I understand, we're going to get to delve a little, like, the origin story is a little more in depth than in previous versions. So can you talk about that for a second?
The way that I kind of thought about this is it's an origin, but it almost works as a prequel to these characters before they become the iconic version of those characters. But for something to work as an entire movie on its own that can, you know, really be about this this group of friends that become a family, and they're torn apart and they're pushed to the brink, and how far they can be torn apart until they, you know, come back together, and just sort of a story about strength as a family. So, yeah.
And is the movie completely done now at this point? Where are you in the process?
I think we're completely done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're. I mean, I've just out of the mix stage, like literally a few hours ago. So we're.
Oh, really? So you came right from mix to here?
We're finishing in the next few days.